provisions in Indian Constitution related to appointment of judges. So first one was the Article 124(2). So this Article 124(2), it deals with the appointment of judges to Indian Supreme Court. Similarly, this Article 217, it deals with appointment of judges to different high courts of different states. So let us see what is this Article 124(2). So this Article 124(2) says that the President of India shall appoint the judges to Supreme Court, and in this process he may make consultation with different judges of Supreme Court and High Court as he may deem necessary. So here who shall appoint the judges? The President of India, and in this process he can make, the Constitution says that he can make consultation with different judges of Supreme Court or High Court as he may deem necessary. So here this term consultation has always been a matter of debate. So let us see what is the meaning, what is the interpretation of this term consultation. So the Supreme Court of India took this matter about the meaning of this term consultation in first judge's case, that is also called the SP Gupta case in 1983. First judge's case. So in the first judge's case, the Supreme Court of India, what it said that the meaning of this term consultation is not concurrence, it is mere exchange of views. So it is just exchange of views between the judiciary as well as the executive, or the President and the Chief Justice of India or judges of Supreme Court. So it is not binding. Any advice given by the judiciary, any advice given by the Chief Justice of India to the President of India is not binding on the President of India. So here the Supreme Court held that the meaning of this term is not concurrence, it is just exchange of views between the executive and the judiciary. But in the second judge's case, the Supreme Court of India changed its previous opinion. So what the Supreme Court of India did here, they said that the meaning of this term consultation given in the Constitution of India is basically concurrence of the judges of Supreme Court. So now they held that any advice given by the judges of Supreme Court, any advice given by the Chief Justice of India to the President of India regarding the appointment of judges to higher judiciary is binding on the President. So it is basically binding on the President. But here the Supreme Court also held that this advice is not merely the advice of Chief Justice of India, but the advice of plurality of judges. So here it is advice of some senior most judges of Supreme Court. So this is how this concept of collegium system came into existence. So this is how the collegium came into existence. Furthermore, in the third judge's case, the Supreme Court of India again reaffirmed. First of all, they reaffirmed in 1998. In 1998, in the third judge's case, Supreme Court of India reaffirmed this collegium system, that it is valid. They reaffirmed the validity of this collegium system. Moreover, what they did, they said that there should be a particular composition of this collegium. So for appointment of judges to Supreme Court, the collegium shall consist of Chief Justice of India as well as 4 senior most judges of Supreme Court. Similarly, for appointment of judges to High Court, the collegium shall consist of Chief Justice of India and 2 senior most judges of Supreme Court. So here in the third judge's case, the Supreme Court of India again reaffirmed the existence of the credibility of the collegium, and it clarified about the composition of this collegium. So this collegium system has has been a matter of debate. It has always been a matter of criticism because of certain limitations. So now we shall discuss what all are the limitations of this collegium system.